Aaron, challenging course today. This car is already a handful as it is.
He was the quiet force behind the roar, the man whose hands turned scrap metal into roaring legends. But one day, Aron Kaufman, the heart and soul of Fast and Loud, walked away from it all. The fame, the fortune, the empire he helped build. Fans were stunned. What could make a man at the peak of success disappear without warning? Was it betrayal, burnout, or something even deeper? This isn't just a story about cars. It's a story about courage, control, and the price of staying true to yourself. Here's what really happened to Aron Kaufman. Aron Kaufman was born on January 26, 1982, in Crowley, Texas, a small working-class town where engines roared louder than dreams. He didn't grow up with luxury, just the hum of tools and the smell of gasoline. His father, David Gerald Kaufman, worked 12-hour days as a mechanic, earning barely enough to keep the family's small trailer powered. They lived simply, sometimes struggling to keep the lights on. But inside that modest home, something extraordinary was forming. While other kids played outside, Aron was busy taking things apart. Radios, blenders, lawnmowers, anything with gears. At just 10 years old, Aron Kaufman took apart a broken lawnmower using nothing but a kitchen knife and a screwdriver. He didn't just fix it, he made it run better than before. That wasn't luck, it was instinct. A spark of genius no one had yet recognized. By 12, his backyard had become a mini workshop. Using scrap metal and spare parts, he built go-karts from lawnmower engines and shopping carts that could hit 35 miles per hour. They weren't toys, they were proof of imagination and raw talent. But with innovation came danger. One December afternoon, one of his homemade exhaust systems exploded, sending molten metal across his right arm. 23 stitches later, he was scarred but unbroken. That Christmas, the Kaufman family spent their holiday savings on hospital bills instead of gifts. There were no presents, just a hard lesson etched into Aron's young mind. Progress always comes with pain. By high school, Aron wasn't skipping class to waste time. He was working. For $4.25 an hour, he fixed transmissions in back alley garages across Dallas County. At 16, he rebuilt a transmission that 3 certified mechanics had called impossible. He finished it in 11 hours, earned $200, and proved he was destined for something bigger. His principal once found $400 in cash in his locker, all from weekend repair jobs. Even his shop teacher secretly covered for his absences because he knew Aron's future wouldn't come from textbooks. After high school, he tried college, but quickly grew restless. When a professor mocked his design as unrealistic, Aron walked out and never looked back. In 2002, fate stepped in when he met Richard Rawlings inside a Dallas garage. Together, they built Gas Monkey Garage, a small shop that soon became a global sensation. Aron's talent gave it life, and his creations would soon roar to the world through Fast and Loud. Tighter deadlines, more chaos for television. Aron wanted precision, authenticity, and safety. Their friendship, once the foundation of their success, began to crumble. The breaking point came during the De Tomaso Pantera EcoBoost build, one of the toughest projects in the show's history. Aron warned that it couldn't be done properly under the insane TV deadlines, but Richard pushed ahead. Corners were cut, tempers flared, and trust dissolved. The project went against everything Aron stood for. To him, it was no longer about the craft. It was about camera angles and ratings. Then came the final betrayal. During a high-risk semi-truck build, Aron begged the crew to postpone testing until safety checks were done. Richard refused, insisting they finish the shoot. The truck nearly failed during its test run, almost injuring someone. For Aron, that was the end. On March 6, 2017, he quietly announced his exit from Gas Monkey Garage in a simple Facebook post. No interviews, no farewell special. Just a goodbye message that broke millions of fans' hearts. Freedom, however, came with chaos. His next project, Shifting Gears, was meant to be a fresh start. A pure builder's show without the drama. But ratings dropped fast, and Discovery canceled it after just 12 episodes. Then came lawsuits accusing him of abandoning $300,000 worth of unfinished builds, followed by a devastating fire at ArcLight Fabrication, his new shop. Investigators found the blaze was caused by faulty wiring Aron had installed himself to save money. $50,000 worth of rare Ford parts burned to ash. But he refused to close his doors. He paid for the losses himself, rebuilt the shop, and pushed forward. In 2020, Aron shocked the classic car community by introducing electric conversion kits for vintage Ford F-100 trucks, powered by Tesla Model S batteries. Purists called it sacrilege, claiming he was destroying automotive history. He received over 500 angry emails, and $200,000 in orders were canceled overnight. But where the old guard saw betrayal, a new generation saw brilliance. Within 6 months, over 150 younger buyers placed deposits for the electric builds. The backlash became a revolution, and Aron found himself at the edge of a new movement: sustainable hot rodding. But success came at a cost. His marriage to longtime partner Charlene Fleming began to crumble. Friends noticed him appearing at events alone, without his ring. Work consumed him. 16-hour days left no room for anything else. By 2021, they were in therapy, but soon after, Aron stopped speaking about his personal life altogether. The silence said enough. That same year, his body finally gave out. One night in March 2021, Aron collapsed in his shop, alone and unconscious beside a half-built F-100 chassis. His appendix had ruptured, and by the time he was found at 3:47 a.m., the infection had spread dangerously. He underwent 6 hours of emergency surgery at Dallas Presbyterian Hospital, followed by another procedure for complications. ArcLight Fabrication shut down for 4 months, losing over $340,000 in business. When he recovered, he promised himself he would never work alone again. But the blows kept coming. His crypto investments collapsed in 2022. He had put $1.2 million into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital coins. By the summer, 85% of it was gone. To stay afloat, he mortgaged his Dallas shop and sold 2 rare F-100s, including a 1956 prototype worth $180,000. For most, that would have been the end. But Aron Kaufman isn't most people. In 2023, things began to change. ArcLight Fabrication's custom F-100 wheels exploded in popularity, selling globally for over $4,000 a set. Orders poured in from Germany, Australia, and the UK. Without a TV show, without corporate backing, Aron turned his once small Texas shop into a global automotive brand. 78% of his revenue now came from online sales. ArcLight had become an empire, built not by fame, but by reputation. And then, in 2024, came the biggest surprise of all. At the SEMA show in Las Vegas, Aron announced his most ambitious dream yet: the Route 66 Restoration Project. Partnering with the Smithsonian and the National Park Service, he began restoring 12 iconic cars tied to America's most historic highway. Among them were a 1949 Ford F1 and a 1962 Chevy Impala used in the original Route 66 TV series. The total budget exceeded $2.3 million, part funded by private collectors and part by crowdfunding. The project wasn't about profit. It was about preserving history. It was his redemption, his full-circle moment. Today, Aron Kaufman stands as more than just the man from Fast and Loud. He is the embodiment of integrity, resilience, and self-belief. He once told Richard Rawlings, "You chose TV, I chose building." That one line defined him forever. From a broke kid in a Texas trailer park to a global craftsman respected by builders around the world, Aron Kaufman proved that walking away from fame doesn't mean walking away from greatness. Because real legends aren't built for television. They're built for life. He has faced fire, loss, debt, and failure. Yet every time he rose stronger, shaping his destiny with his own hands. His shop in Austin now produces full F-100 restorations worth up to $150,000. And his partnership list reads like a who's who of the automotive world: Magnaflow, Sierra Cars, and more. But above all, he's free. Free from scripts, from ratings, from the noise of fame. Just a man and his machines. Exactly where he always wanted to be. If you were inspired by the journey of Aron Kaufman, from the chaos of fast and easy sins, loud to the quiet power of arc light fabrication, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because some stories remind us that the loudest engines don't roar on television. They roar inside those who dare to build their own destiny. Thanks for watching.